Welcome to the Tech and Real Estate Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Frank Zarinsky, the founder and CEO of Motion City Media. Thank you so much, Frank, for being here.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited to be here.
Yes, I heard about you from my friend he used to be a real estate agent, and they come to you for all their multimedia solutions. And you're pretty close by in Asbury from where I'm at. So I thought it'd be great to get your insight as to what you do and if you could give a little bit of an intro of how you got started in this field.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Yes, we know we know the space well, and we truly have like a passion for real estate, and not necessarily for real estate. It's all about helping people, and real estate connects to everything within the community. I was always in a tech background. I used to work for Apple Computer, and then I actually saw a wrapped vehicle for a real estate company, and I'm like, oh, hey, I can get into real estate. And so I got my real estate license. Was hired by a company that was doing innovative things. It was called Foxtons Real Estate. Some people call that the other F word because Foxtons was loved and hated for many reasons, but I met some of the best people there and learned an intense amount. And when the market went down about 12 years ago, Foxtons went under, and I left just a little bit before they went under. The one thing Foxtons did differently was they did professional marketing, photography, floor plans on every home. They treated every house like a peer. They didn't just cherry pick the nice media for the nice listings. So when Foxtons went under, I saw an opportunity to become a media company. So that's how we got started in the business. So I had about 3 years of real estate background. So I applied that knowledge, and my mom bought me my first camera, and I just learned how to take photos. Other than concert photography from like a disposable camera, I never picked up a camera in my life. It was just all about, okay,
Wow.
here's an opportunity. I was surrounded by amazing people and really good contacts from working at Foxtons Real Estate. We all learned so much about the industry together. And that's how we got our first client as well, through just the connection to Foxtons. And I just practiced like every day. I was just begging friends, like, can I please take pictures of your house? Like, I won't bother you. I would love to just start working on it so I can get better. And I bought a bunch of photography books, and I just kept practicing. And that's how we got into the real estate marketing space. And here we are 12 years later. It's pretty magical. We're very, very fortunate that it's all come together like this. And our clients are amazing. Like, most of them are like our best friends. Like, we're super lucky to be in this space and working well with each other, helping each other's businesses grow.
That is incredible. So you not only picked up a new skill, you used your network as well. You overcame challenges from learning a lot of this on the go. So what is your why? Like, what kept you motivated? Because I bet during times you probably were fiddling with the camera and you were like, oh, I don't know, like, how do I do this? So what kept you
Totally.
going?
I was never into photography. I was always into media and marketing. So my
Mhm.
why is quite diverse. I just love growing with people and helping other people succeed. I love it. It kind of like keeps me going. Love working with small businesses, whether it's like one of like our contractors or an employee or a vendor, it doesn't matter. Like, I love growing with other businesses. So my why,
Mhm.
like, I've noticed how to be rich, noticed how to have a yacht. Like, I just like to just like be really around happy, good people that are doing great things. So my why, that keeps me going. It keeps me smiling, seeing everybody around us being successful. And you got to really love what you do. So I never loved photography, but I knew I could get good at it. So never was like, oh boy, I'm going to be a couch photographer. Like, I can't wait. Like, I'm just going to take pictures of like furniture and rooms all day. But I made myself love it, like attention to detail. And then before I knew it, I did love it. And then it just connected to everything else. And then it turned into what my passions have always been, which was marketing and again, business coaching and helping others grow. I just never had a former college background, so I didn't really
Mhm.
know how to get into it. So we kind of just built it out ourselves, and now we're sharing that with everybody else.
That is great. So going back to like what you just mentioned, how did you go from you were learning these other skills that you weren't as passionate about? You then were able to go to what you're passionate about, which is marketing. So did you grow your team at that point in order to get people whose focus was on those areas?
Yes, thank you. So we started in 2008, and I was the only photographer for about 6.5 years. I worked
Wow.
a full-time job in addition to my business. just going nonstop. And, you know, I was really lucky to be working with such great people. And one of them I also worked in real estate with previously. So he was my new boss at that new job. And as my business started to grow, he supported me in regards to giving me flexible hours. He made it so like I didn't have to give the business because I was close to giving it up simply because it's like, all right, pay the mortgage or go back to the corporate life and get a full-time day job. But he supported me, and that was another reason why we were able to grow. And before I knew it, about 6.5, 7 years in, we were shooting on my own, like 35 to 40 houses a week. So every day was wake up at 7 a.m., on the road by 8 a.m., shooting until 7 or 8 p.m., editing on the couch until 1 or 2 in the morning. And just it got wild. So I'm like, all right, it's time to grow and expand. And it was truly, I hate to call it like a network. It's just, we have such like a good like friend base, and we're surrounded by all these talented professionals in Asbury Park. So one of my really good friends, Ashley, who worked at our favorite coffee shop, Cafe Volan on Bangs Avenue, where I've met over half of my team through just like connecting through a community coffee shop. She connected me with one of her really good friends, Drew, and I talked to Drew, and he had his own little media company that he was getting going as well. And he ended up being our first photographer, and he matched what we were doing perfectly. And that was only about, I would say about 4.5 years ago. Like sometimes the time gets a little like compressed because, you know, yesterday, you know, it just time gets
by fast.
Yeah, runs away from us. So let's say 4 to 5 years ago, we started with Drew. And now we work with 18 contractors, and we have 3 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees. So now it's giving others opportunity, and we're surrounded by amazing, talented professionals. And it's rather humbling. Like, it's kind of crazy. It always never feels real to me. It's just, you always just want to focus on doing the next thing right. And that's what we do. So the one edge we have too is service and kindness. And I learned that from being in real estate. Always put your client's interests first. The more they succeed, the better they do, the better you'll do. And even if you don't do better because of it, it doesn't matter. You always want to put your clients first. And when they win, you know, it's going to come back around to you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Listeners, please note that down. It's very important not to think selfishly, but to think selflessly, because things come around. And I realize I want to transition. We didn't get to talk about Asbury Park in general. So I love that you were able to grow your company, not just by putting posts out there, but by actually finding talent from the backyard. For those viewers who may not be aware of where Asbury Park is or the culture behind it, could you give a little bit overview about that?
So I've been coming up to Asbury Park since I was 12, and it's always been a found, talented, and like kind community, artistic, creative, just talented, caring human beings, right? So that's what, you know, when I was younger, I just came up here for like Warped Tour and concerts and like all that cool stuff. And then about 13 years ago, my really good friend, Carrie West, one of my best friends, she's like, yeah, I'm going to be in the Zombie Walk in Asbury. I'm like, the Zombie Walk? I'm like, what's that? I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, it's so cool. We're like practicing to perform Thriller. And I'm like, all right, cool. So that kind of reintroduced me to the town. And gosh, just started to come here, whether you're dining or going to a concert, whatever, like you meet amazing people. Then again, everything connects together. Like some of the people that I met 12 years ago that were just simple acquaintances are now good friends. It's everything connects together. That's why it's so important. Like it's I don't even call it my network. It's just, it's your friend base, right? Like, cause these are your friends, and these are people that you grow through. And then all of a sudden you're surrounded by all these talented professionals, and they're starting their own businesses, and you kind of just build off each other. Like, we don't even do like referral fees. Like we just connect people together, right? Cause again, the better their business does, the better you're going to do in the long run. So you just like what you said before, is just truly act selflessly. Don't act like you're acting selflessly, like be selfless. And I applied that when I was in real estate as well. If somebody came to me with a $400,000 pre-approval, but I knew they could only afford $350,000, like we had a conversation about that. I'm like, hey, yeah, of course I can sell you this expensive home, but I don't want you to be house poor. Like, what's really going to make sense for you and your family? Right. And if that even means putting them on hold for a year, guess what? One, it's the right thing to do for them. And they tell 5 other people that somebody was not pressuring them into a sale. You just do the right thing.
Exactly.
It's that simple. And when I was in real estate, like we crushed it. We had a blast, but we we were a top performer. And I don't mean that in like in a sales way, but we did well simply because we treated our clients amazing. We just treated them how we wanted to be treated. And we were a partner in the process, not just looking for a commission check, because it's all that long-term build. Real estate connects to everything. So whether somebody's going to be like in a wedding, it doesn't matter. So you want to be working with them their entire lives, not just for a simple real estate transaction. So it's truly building out that long-term lifetime relationship. And that's always our mindset as well.
Yeah, that's a terrific point. It's not just a one set transaction. Can't look at it that way. It needs to be a natural relationship long term. And also, funny point, you mentioned about the zombie walk. So last year, my friends Sophia and Jay actually got married, and they did their photos in Asbury during the walk.
No way.
So they're surrounded by a bunch of zombies. I think it was actually on the news, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Did they do that intentionally?
I'm not sure. They had to have known about it because they live there. Cool. So
then they definitely know. But the zombie walk, it's just so cool. It's kind of like Halloween, but like it's such a scene because they close all the streets down. There's just zombies everywhere, and everybody's just partying. It like the zombie walk. If you've never been to it, I encourage your audience to go out there. It's absolutely incredible.
Definitely. So I definitely want to talk more also about your products and some of the solutions, the multimedia solutions that your company offers. And then we could dive deeper into the technology behind it as well.
Sure. We started with photography. And photography truly is the key core item that leads to everything else. So the way that the real estate like marketing engines work, like the first thing every buyer is going to see is photography, because the photos will syndicate out to every single website that connects to like the realtor's multiple listing service that hosts their listings. So the photography is always going to be a buyer's first look at the home, and it's a marketing photo. So we need to make it look stunning, right? Because one thing I really learned, so some realtors and just, people in general, like they'll take their own photos and they look good. But remember, it's a marketing piece. We want to get the house sold fast and for a top dollar. So, so any product or service you buy, there's always professional photography, whether it's a hamburger or a frozen bag of peas, right? Like there's a professional photo session going on. So why would somebody's biggest investment of their life have cell phone photos? That's why the photography is key. That is what attracts there. And that small investment for the photography, not just once or twice, all the time, leads into an investment. So we get calls consistently like, hey, I found my realtor because of your photography, right? So we've had our realtor's business grow to get more sellers and more buyers by having the professional photography. So that $200, depending on what they order, that $200 to $500 purchase ends up being a $10,000 return based on getting additional clients from it. Because it's that mindset of how you do one thing is how you do everything. And buyers are savvy. They do the research. They see, is a realtor doing professional marketing on just the expensive homes or all the homes? So it all connects together. So it starts with photos because that does syndicate everywhere. But for the auxiliary products, which especially now like the 3D, video walkthroughs, drone, those are all auxiliary supporting products. Like that's never going to be anybody's first click. But everything's evolving. Like a video might be the first click if you post a video to Facebook. But in regards to the realtor systems of the MLS, it's photos first and everything else gets clicked on after that. And one solution that we have, we give all of our clients what's called a single property website. So we build a property website for every single house that we shoot. So that's going to hold their photos, their branding, lead capture. And then the beauty thing about that is if they do the Matterport 3D virtual walkthrough, which we'll touch on, or drone services, it all will be in one page. So people don't have to hunt for information. It's in one beautiful presentation for buyers to look at. And then there's a lead capture function. So that lead will get sent right to the realtor without us taking a cut. So it also helps them get both sides of the transactions. And it's also really good data for conversations with sellers because they're going to see where their clicks are coming from.
Right.
They're getting 27 clicks from Long Island and only 2 from, Asbury Park. They might want to pump some marketing money into the areas where the buyers are actually looking from. And in regards to what we're navigating now, and I'm never a profits first person in regards to things like this. It's always about safety and making sure we're all okay. whether this is a 3-month thing we're going through or 18 months, it's all temporary. We all just need to stay safe, well, and look out for each other, right?
Yeah,
So
of course.
the Matterport 3D technology is helping with that. We made that product even more affordable because we saw like a surge of orders coming in. So we've been working with everybody on the pricing on that to make it work for them. So like they get a return. And the biggest thing is also it's calming sellers' anxieties. So you're at the listing table, they might not want 30 families coming through. So the Matterport
Right.
technology, it draws like a dollhouse of your home and it kind of peels the roof off to let you look in, walk the floor plan. So then agents could say, hey, every buyer, even if they're not working with me as a realtor, we're making every buyer do a virtual walkthrough. Make sure they love the flow, the floor plan. We'll have them look up. We'll have them look down at the floors. We'll have them check out the features. And if they don't love it, we're going to save them from coming into your home. So it's helping sellers' anxieties with having too much foot traffic right now. And it's also beneficial for the realtor because it gives them a conversation to have with the buyer. And if that home is not a good fit for them, then they started a new relationship. So now it possibly could turn into a second sale, again, because they invested in technology that's looking out for their clients first.
Yeah, exactly. So now, so you're by using this 3D Matterport, you're actually breaking down a lot of barriers here.
Yes.
So the barrier of people's fear of coming into their homes, as well as the barrier of maybe a realtor not being able to gauge right away what a buyer may want, but when the buyer is able to look through that 3D home, they're able to now give feedback.
Precisely. It's all communication. It opens up communication.
Right.
And it's been really, so we're calming the sellers' anxieties, but also the buyers are not going to want to get marched through 12 listings. Like they want to look at the 2 that might actually work for them instead of also putting themselves in a unique situation. And I really think that once we get ahead of the pandemic, which we will, it's really going to, I don't think you're going to have everybody just stop ordering 3D because just like how we're all getting used to working from home, the industry is going to pivot, right? And it's going to leverage technology. And if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's going to save everybody time and keep everybody safer. So you're not driving to 12 listings, you're driving to 2. So it's better for the environment, better for your clients, and also better for the seller because you don't keep interrupting their day. So by virtually walking through a home where you see the full layout, measurements, like you really know, hey, this is awesome. And like we even do like with the Matterport, you could build in some 360 spherical shots on the front of the backyard. They can see their neighbors, cars on the street, so they can really make an informed decision whether they really want to go look at that house instead of dedicating 30 minutes for a walkthrough. So it really, it's solving a lot of problems that existed because we all get set in our ways. We get used to always doing something one way, and that's how the real estate community, often was. And now many agents, especially the ones that are growing, they're just leveraging technology wherever it makes sense in their business.
Right. I think you mentioned a good point saying that all the times, and especially in real estate, we can get stuck in our own ways. So how have you found that people have come to you for this like 3D Matterport as an exploratory tool that they want to use, or more so by force? And if it's by force that they have to use it and that's why they're coming to you, how do you train them on these tools?
It's a combination. You kind of already answered my question. You said training, and that's what's going to be my answer. It's education. It's taking the time. Like I've had a few realtors call and say, I hate Matterport. I don't like this. So it's like, okay, well, do you have a few minutes? Let's jump on a Zoom call and let's look at one together. And it was just a simple, just navigation of like just walking them through the product and how it works. So this way they could be educated and informed to show their sellers and buyers how it works. It's all education and investing the time and helping them learn the technology.
Right.
So we do that for like that back-end platform we were talking about for the single property websites. We'll set the time aside to have that hour-long Zoom session and walk them through like how to design flyers, how to capture leads, how to share your Matterport, how to link the tours the right way. So it's all taking that time for the education investment because you could give them tools, but until you know how to use the tools, you can't implement them properly.
Yep.
Often they're scared by new technology. And you know what? Like same thing for me. Somebody mentions the word Twitter, like I shut down. I'm like, I don't know how to use that. But if I ever needed that as a resource, I'll learn it. And I'm going to learn from somebody that's knowledgeable on it. So it's truly just asking those exploratory questions and how can we help out and just being patient. Like technology is not always easy to understand for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I learned this in real estate. You mirror to their level, but stay with them. You don't want to be speaking down to them. You want to be speaking with them. Like you want to be
Exactly.
a part of the education process as if you're a partner, not telling them what to do.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Um, Pretty funny when you mentioned the Twitter part. It reminded me how my younger cousin is telling me about like TikTok, and she's like, "How come you don't have a TikTok video up yet?" I'm just like, "Oh, like I don't know how to do it." A little bit intimidating. But then, yeah, once the virus is over, she'll probably walk me through the process
Yeah.
in a way that I feel comfortable with. And then I'll probably post something. So I think it's very important to be able to walk someone through something with patience, of
Totally.
course.
TikTok has exploded. So if you listen to
Yep.
Gary Vee at all, like, he's like, TikTok is next, right? And I don't think
Hmm.
he's wrong, right? It's going to be supplementary. It's not going to replace Instagram or Facebook, but there's a lot of people. And remember, if you're concerned that the audience is too young, remember, everything's a long-term investment. In 5
Yep.
years, they're going to remember that you were on TikTok now. And then when they're ready to buy a house in 2025, they remember you from TikTok 5 years ago. So it's all the long game and the long-term investment. So if your audience isn't there now, don't worry about that. They will be, because they're going to evolve in the process as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think for him, for Gary Vee, he mentions that he did like a video going through a roof or something in one of
You,
his books in his
uh,
TikTok.
I did not hear that, but I love him. Like,
Yeah,
I
he's
saw him
great.
with some friends in Philadelphia like 2.5, 3 years ago. Changed my life. Like, it was one of those, and this is not one of these things that I buy into. Like, you go see a speaker and it changes your life, but the
Hmm.
things they talk about work, right? So it was like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, a bunch of other people. And I just learned it was a 1 day thing. I think it was like $95. Like, it was so cheap. And like, just the knowledge you walk away, it just helps program your mindset. And a lot of
Yeah.
people reject that stuff because they think that they know it all. There's always something you can learn, right? There's always a
Yep.
chance for a learning opportunity. And then the way they speak about things that don't apply to you, your business, you just think about something else for a few minutes. Like, there's no
Hmm.
way that it's going to be custom tailored just for you, but there's an immense amount of value there. I highly recommend when those things come around. Again, I think it's called like Resource Success Network or something like that. But it's always like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, all those type of speakers. Just go and listen. You're gonna not stop writing things down the entire time you're
Yep.
there. And then be aware of some people there to sell you things, and that's okay. Some of those things have value and some don't. But it's always good for the education, because my favorite thing is, let me make an informed decision. Without that information, we can't make an informed decision.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even if for the whole session you only gain maybe one insight, that one insight can reshape your life or your motivation. So incredible.
Absolutely. Those key takeaways, you do not forget them. And then it
Hmm.
starts to build into your core belief systems as well. Totally agree. You just need one piece of value to walk away with, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So I also want to transition into one of your other products that I see mentioned on your website of drones.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that because you said it's an auxiliary product, it's not used as often. But when do you use drones, and how has it been coming up to speed using them?
Totally. So we do it when it makes sense for our clients, right? So we're not this
Hmm.
big upsell company. We generally want to do what's right for our client. So for example, if somebody calls in to order a drone package without us even asking, we'll always check on Google Earth first, because if you zoom out and they're 3 houses away from a garbage dump, we might want to be like, hey, why don't you skip the drone services on this one?
Right.
Let's save that money for something else, right? So you don't want to just do it to take money. You want to do it when it can help add value. So drone is recommended almost always for waterfront, water adjacent, unique large properties, sprawling grounds, or if there's like a
Hmm.
horse farm. Drone makes sense in certain situations. So again, we only want that client to purchase it when it's going to help get the house sold. So especially when it's a home not even on like the ocean, but when it's on like a channel, right? Then a buyer could be like, oh, it'll take me 10 minutes to get my boat from my house to the bay. So it can be really good for information. Even if they're a half mile in, like a
Hmm.
buyer that's a boater is going to want to know how far in they're going to be. So drone makes sense in certain situations. And right now we have 2 drone pilots, Mike and Greg, both absolutely amazing. And our goal is to get our entire team trained on drone by the end of the year. It just makes sense, not just for logistics, but just the more knowledge they have to offer, the better it's going to be for the agents, and just also
Right.
for keeping their businesses growing as well.
That's awesome. Excuse me. Um, so along with the drone part, I know that there has been like in the regulatory space some restrictions. Maybe neighbors don't want to have their photo of their backyard also in there. So
Yeah.
how do you guys manage those regulations?
Right. So all of our guys are like the Part 107 certified, and they all have business insurance. So yes, the very nice police officers show up often because
Okay.
neighbors call, and all that happens is it's always a friendly conversation. They ask for the drone pilot's paperwork, and we show them. So as long as
Mhm.
you're being compliant, you don't have a thing to worry about. And the neighbors sometimes don't grasp that they're seeing the drone low. That's not to film their house. Like, we have to start low to get those
Right.
wide sweeping shots. So they're going to look like ants by the time it's all done. But I think they
Mhm.
get nervous during like the launch process because it looks like, oh my gosh, they're trying to look into my yard or my house. But the reality is we're just launching to get those high shots and the dramatic shots, like catching the ocean in the background and things like that. So like, our goal is just to shoot that house. But just like when you're in an airplane, you're going to see everything, right? So your
Yeah.
house is going to be there, but the reality is the data's there anyway. Like, you go on Google Earth, you see your backyard, you're seeing everything, right? So it's one of those privacy concerns. We respect it, but at the same time, like, it's a really good sales tool for sellers. And I'm being honest, like, oftentimes that neighbor will end up calling us, when they're ready to sell to order drone
Mhm.
services. So the ones that were upset about it often end up wanting the product because they saw that it was effective selling their neighbor's house.
Yeah, I bet. And I bet also you giving them that knowledge when you guys go on site also makes them trust you for future
It's all
reference.
it's all kindness and education. People just have questions, just be there to help them with their concerns.
Great. So before we go into the tell all, I do
Okay.
want to get your insights into based off of COVID-19, and also just the future of how real estate is. What are some, I guess, maybe predictions or maybe challenges or opportunities that you see in the technology space specifically for your company?
Yeah, so I feel you're going to see a lot of Matterport 3D competitors. They already exist out there, and we're getting well versed on all of them because you don't want to ever just be married to like one piece of technology when somebody else might be doing it differently or better. So there's a lot of emerging 3D technology, and here's the answer. Let's get cross-trained on all of them. Like, it's so simple. So
Mhm.
we want to become well versed on what is emerging. And I do feel so navigating through the pandemic, like, we're being incredibly safe. Like, no photographers being forced to work. Whoever is working now, it's all voluntary. Like, it's a long-term 40, 50-year investment. Like, if they're not comfortable shooting right now, great, stay home. We're going to save your position for you when you get back, right? So you got to work with your creative team because, like, there's anxiety there as well. And then
Right.
what we're doing, like, we're going above the CDC guidelines. So, like, this might get revised down the road, of course, as things change. But right now, when we're there, we're not allowing anybody in the house if it's possible, right? So we're just having the seller step outside, go for a walk, and then the seller or the realtor gets the house ready ahead of time. Then our photographer comes in with like mask on, gloves on, and
Mhm.
they just get the shoot done. They get the same exact awesome photos. So they're not, the best part is nobody's losing out on the experience. So you're still
Right.
getting the same high quality imagery. Just the difference is nobody's inside the house. So instead of following a 6-foot rule, because we are considered essential support in the real estate industry, we're having a 30-foot rule. Like, nobody's allowed in the space with
Mhm.
us, unless there's like a legal reason why they have to be there. Like, we're going above and beyond the guidelines. And then once we get ahead of this, again, and science will help us get ahead of this. And once we're there,
Yep.
we just have to, like, we're still going to be safe, but I do not feel that we're going to go back to the way things were. I think just like how everybody's like, I could work from home and get more work done and have a very similar experience and not sit in the car for an hour. I think we're going to even have realtors that it's like, hey, let's do a 30-minute Zoom session with my client
Mhm.
and let's virtually walk through our 10 prospective homes, then narrow it down to 2. It's going to really benefit the real estate industry in the long run. And even though, of course, we're grateful that we still do have some work coming in right now, very grateful for that. I don't want to make extra money because of this. Like, the reality
Mhm.
is, like, we need to be here to serve our clients. It's part of the thing. Like, we're kind of very tied into the real estate industry, so we want to help. But I do see like our industry growing because of this, and the real estate industry. And just one
Definitely.
data point that several agents have discussed with me in the last 3 weeks, a lot of people are moving out of the big cities and
Yep.
looking for a home that has a backyard, right? So that's been a very common like shoot request that's coming in, that they either live in Philly or Manhattan. And
Mhm.
this made them rethink things about having their own space to just go outside and relax, because a lot of people are in high rises and they don't have a backyard.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of movement of people looking to move to like the suburbs in relation to ones that live right now in Philly or New York, where they don't have like actual like property, or not property, but they don't actually have like space to roam around in for themselves outside.
Yeah, it's pretty good insight into some of the migration shifts there. That might
Yep.
be different for some of the clients, or like the photos that you'll be taking, or not the photos, but your multimedia solutions that you'll be taking in certain areas.
Yes.
And I also want to mention, I definitely agree that I see this area that you're in is going to have even more growth than already. And I think it's also really beneficial for realtors, because with the whole movement of machine learning, artificial intelligence, there's a fear of jobs being taken away. And then there's iBuyer out there that automates some of the process of a realtor. However, whenever you have that human component and it's able to excel really well and really make personal connections, AI can't replace that. So by you guys offering like 3D Matterport, and now you're allowing realtors to be able to focus more on their clients, because that part of maybe showing the home is taken care of, they can actually drill down to what their clients need. They're offering this whole new level of service that maybe only certain agents were able to do before.
Precisely. You said that incredibly well. And to build on it, like, yes, AI does replace certain things, but then it also creates opportunities in other
Yeah.
areas. So now you build the relationship in a different way, and you're actually having a much more like really just like that relationship time that you're having now. It's even more important than rushing through a house, because now you actually have like
Mhm.
a real conversation. You can fact find, you can develop a relationship. Like, not everything needs to be face to face. Like, we're having an awesome interaction right now, and also it's letting us have more productive days. And there's no greater gift than time. And
Yep.
now realtors are giving time back to their clients, and I feel that's a giant takeaway from all this. Like, maybe we don't need to be on the road 10 hours a day. Maybe we
Mhm.
can work way more efficiently. AI is going to replace some tasks. It's impossible to replace relationships. Like, as human beings, we make almost every decision based on instinct and emotion. That's not going to go away. It's just going to
Yep.
be who is going to be the one that's going to actually like capitalize is the wrong word, but who's going to have the best system and process to navigate this new world. That's why it's so important for the realtors, even the ones that were still stuck a year ago, not leveraging technology. It's so important that they're investing in their personal brand, their business, and their offerings. Because if they're not offering it, that next interview that's coming 30 minutes after you might be. So you got to be able to, you
Yeah, true.
got to say, hey, we're working with the best. And I'm not saying this to brag. It's not about this at all. But we have so many agents that say we're bringing in Motion City Media and we're getting this done. And then they'll show off all of our work. And it's been a big listing tool for our realtors to show that they're hiring a dedicated professional company that all we do is real estate photography and marketing. So
Mhm.
we support all of our competitors. We get along with a lot of them. A lot of them are incredibly great people. We all learn from each other. But then you have the ones that don't put the client's needs first. That's why it's like we are a true extension of the realtor's brand. So like we make them look good, and at the same time, we've got the exact same goal. The more homes they sell, the more happy sellers they get, and the more happy clients we get. So again, it just all
It's a
connects.
win-win.
Yep, win-win, totally.
Excellent. All right. So, Frank, are you ready for the tell all?
I am. I'm ready.
So, this is the segment where we get to know a little bit more about you and what makes you a successful entrepreneur.
Okay.
So, the first question is, what is your daily habit and why?
I journal every morning and throughout the day. It keeps me accountable, and even more importantly, it lets me recognize patterns. So I'll just write down how I feel, how I slept, what I ate the day before, did I work out that day, whatever it may be, or what challenges I had that day. And then you start to recognize patterns. It's like, oh, well, this is why I didn't feel good on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because I didn't have breakfast till 2:30 in the afternoon. So like journaling holds you accountable. I forget who said it, but
Mhm.
when you write it down, it becomes real. So I don't take a digital note. Like, I have an actual journal. Keep it quick because there's only so much time of the day, but I'll just
Right.
write down how I feel and write down tasks throughout the day. And then you get to evaluate, be like, oh, well, that's why I had a really successful week, is because I did these things differently. And it helps you learn to recognize patterns that you don't realize that, oh my gosh, 41 days passed and I'm still not eating breakfast until the afternoon. I need to change this. That lets you catch that at day 7 instead of like 40 something days in.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it holds you accountable to be able to correct certain behaviors and be aware of what's going on. How
Absolutely.
long ago did you start journaling? Just
Uh,
curious.
like a year and a half ago. Like a lot of these things
Hmm.
are recent to me. Like I've been so lucky to have like amazing mentors and business coaches. They gave me these tools. Like one, we love and work with so many amazing realtors, and some of them we've really just developed like special like friendships and relationships with, and we just learn from each other. Like it's just constant phone calls, and I love it. Right? It's like I hate the word mentoring because it makes it sound elitist, but it's like we're just learning from each other, and we all have
Hmm.
unique challenges, and the business principles are all stretched across the board, right? They all apply the same. You just replace their business name with your business name. So it's true. Like that's why I started journaling. That's why I started reading again. From age 17 to age 37, I read 0 books. Now I'm reading like 2 to 3 books a month. Like it's actually,
That's
that's
awesome.
2 to 3 books, probably a quarter, just because time flies
Hmm.
in my mind. But I went from reading nothing to like I look forward to reading a new book now.
Hmm.
And the reason I didn't read for so long is because I'm not good with retention. So what I do now is I get Audible, I listen to it, and I read the book, and then I highlight and take notes as I go along. And now that information sticks in me, where previously I'd read an entire page and it wouldn't stick with me. So I'm like, oh, why am I going to read if I can't remember it? But I
Right.
found a way to get around my system, and now I can retain all the knowledge properly.
Yeah, it's excellent. So you realized one way wasn't working for you and you just found another way and pivoted.
And
It's
all these people
terrific.
that I love and respect are like, you got to read this book, you got to read that book. I'm like, I don't read books, so I'm like, I got to read books. So
Yeah.
that's also brought us to another level.
Great. And that goes right into the next question, which is what book has transformed you?
All right, is it okay if I give 3 real quick?
Sure.
All right, so the one book, and that's the one I talked to you about a little bit earlier. It's called "I Used to Be a Miserable Fuck: An Every Man's Guide to a Meaningful Life," and that's by John Kim. He's a
Nice.
therapist, smart business guy, and I discovered him through one of my favorite podcasts and radio shows, which is called "Stand Up with Pete Dominic." He always has talented, smart people on. He likes to learn from everybody else, and I like to learn from everybody else. So he just surrounds himself with smart people and authors, and that's one of the main reasons why I read books today. That and one of my mentors. So that book's amazing. It's a therapist. It's truly written from a therapist standpoint, not too much about business, but about just like relationships and how to care for one another and kindness and just just show love and you get love back. Like a lot of simple
Hmm.
principles, but you don't need to be miserable to read it. It's great for everybody. It's absolutely awesome. Another book on the other side of the spectrum is called Relentless by Tim Grover. Again, another book, recommended to me by a very, very good friend. And that book is just, it's not about business. It's more about like just mental mindset and just like, you got to go nonstop, right? If you're working 80 hours a week, let's do 90. Like the ones that are hustling and working hard, they're the ones that are
Hmm.
going to succeed. Like what's your unique point that sets you apart from everybody else? And if I'm working 90 hours a week and you're working 40, I'm going to get ahead of you just because of math.
Yep.
So Relentless is just, it's incredible. Like I recommend that to everybody. And the last one is called Rocket Fuel. That's all about just how we work. Like I'm a visionary, I might not be the best implementer, and then you surround yourself with somebody that is an amazing implementer. So you work hand in hand, because like where I have some great strengths, I also have some great weaknesses. So you want
Hmm.
to surround yourself with somebody that helps make up those weaknesses, and then all of a sudden you've developed like an unstoppable team. It's a really good business
Yeah.
book and life book.
That's terrific. And great point. All those books sound great. I'm going to put them in the show notes.
All right, cool. Thank
And yeah, and the fact that you said it's important to understand your weaknesses and then bring in people that fill in those weaknesses with their strengths. And next thing you know, you have a great team. And it seems like you've done that with your own company as well.
Feedback is a
Yeah.
gift. I live by that. Like like
Hmm.
feedback, even if it's negative and not properly presented, it doesn't matter. Like learn from it. So that's my big takeaway from that as well.
Great. So the last question that I have for you is if you could share a piece of advice. We're now going through uncertain times, but it could be related to real estate, to technology, or just in life in general.
It's so simple. It's not an exact, well, it's two quotes that I kind of live by. One was from just paraphrasing John Kim is we should always love those that we have loved. So, right. So you might have had a relationship or a business relationship or a friendship that fell apart. We should always still support each other. It's all about exiting with class because you just don't know. Things are going to reconnect. And even if they don't, like, it's just always good to never have any animosity, to always just like have peace with everything. So I love that. So even if it's a crazy, messy business breakup or whatever, like we should always still support each other. So that's one I live by. And the other one is by Maya Angelou, who I just love how she thinks and just the words that she says. And I never get the quote exactly right. But to paraphrase again, it's not what you do for people. It's truly about them remembering how you made them feel. They're not going to remember what you said. They're not going to remember what you did for them, but they're going to remember how you made them feel. So I apply that to every aspect of my life and my business. So instead of giving somebody 15% off, let's just call and have a conversation. Like, they're not going to remember a discount, but they're going to remember an education session where like we take the time to grow with each other. So it's all about how we make people feel. At the end of the day, like I live by that. And people always remember that emotion that you leave them with. And if you leave them feeling good, and that's like just our core business, like it's silly, but we're always sending smiley faces and XOXO and all of our text messages. Like, we love our clients. We want everybody to feel good while we're all working together. And that goes to our lives and our business lives as well.
That is incredible. I think I'm going to write that quote down after this and live by it. Maybe post it somewhere. Because,
I'll send you the exact quote. Like, honestly, like it's like a little book. Let me just zoom in there.
Nice.
All the quotes are in there, and like they're just beautiful to reflect on. Absolutely amazing. So it's just a pocket Maya Angelou wisdom book, and there's just pure gems in there just to live by. And it's just all compassion and understanding. And everybody's got a story. We don't need to know. We just need to respect it.
Very true. Well, thank you so much, Frank. And before we close out, I would love for the viewers to be able to reach out to you. So how can people find you?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. It's motioncitymedia.com. And you can text or call us at 732-300-9799. And our studio, which we do a lot of things above and beyond real estate, is at 658 Cookman Avenue. So headshots, families, you name it. It's a full studio for anything, even well outside of real estate. We do video and photography there. And that's an Instagram and not Twitter, but Instagram and Facebook is also Motion City Media. We're
Maybe
on Twitter,
TikTok soon.
You know what? Thanks for calling me out on that. We don't have a TikTok yet for the business, but that is on the list. And in fact, I'm working with somebody strategically to set that up because it's important to be there.
Great. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing when you're on there. And everyone, please go follow Frank and his company, Motion City Media in Asbury Park.
Thank you. This was incredible. Thank you so much for your time. This is a really cool opportunity. I appreciate that.
Yes. No problem. Thanks, Frank.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Take care. Be well.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.